Hi everyone, Christian here, and I'm going to break down Filipino movies across all genres. I created this series for people who just want to know the story and don't have time to watch the whole movie, but I want you to watch the movie first before proceeding with the breakdown, because this video contains a whole lot of spoilers. So, in this list, I based it on a web article of Fiction File of their 21 best films of all time from Philippine cinema. I give all the credits to them for making this list. If you want to check their website, there is a link in the description. This movie is directed by Brillante Mendoza, who directed a lot of great Filipino movies. I won't go into full detail about who he is, so forgive me for that. Let's go to what this movie is. It's a story of a criminology student who accidentally joins a syndicate to make enough money for his family and gets involved in the murder and dismembering of an erring drug dealer. This movie is disturbing just because of its title. The translation for its title is Butchered. You will know why later. So, if you want to know all the main points of every scene and why this is one of the best films in the Philippines of all time, well, let's go ahead and break down Kinatay or Butchered. The movie starts in a busy street in 2008 or 2009. I feel nostalgic to see everything here. You know, it feels peaceful, but at the same time, people struggle to survive every day. So after that, we see Peping. I'm not gonna be mad if you call him Cardo Dalisay. And his wife, Cecile, along with their child. They are leaving the house because they need to go to their city hall to have their civil marriage. So here, we see his wife crying because they are finally getting married, so Peping tries to calm her. Then we transition to this scene where we see some dude tries to commit suicide, but his mother here tries to prevent that from happening. Then, we see here the family of Peping. I think she is the grandmother of Peping along with his siblings. They try to find where Peping is or where they can find the city hall. And after asking somebody, they find them. They greeted each other, then proceeds to the room while the Ninong is late. You know, Ninong from Google is the godfather. Anyways, before they start, the attorney asks questions to Peping and Cecile. Peping is 20 years old and a college student, and as for Cecile, she's 19 years old, doesn't go to school or doesn't go to work. So she's a housewife here. So after some goofing around, they started the wedding. After that, they ride the van of their ninong to take them to the reception or to where they will eat. So they enjoyed the buffet while talking to each other and some picture taking. So after the celebration, we transition to the class of Peping and Bong. So they are criminology students. The professor here is discussing how to investigate a crime scene, and Peping here, I guess the annoying and noisy student in the class, while joking around, he receives a text from Abyong that they need to meet with each other later after class. Later, we will know who he is, so while texting back to Abyong, his professor notices him before dismissing all of them. Later that afternoon, Bong and Peping walk their way to where the jeepney stopped for the passengers to ride while talking, of course. We see here some places in Manila. Then, they finally separate ways when Peping ride a jeepney. After that, we see here some vendors dealing with each other. I don't know why they are giving money to each other. I guess it's kind of a secret business or drugs. They never say what is happening here. He just collects money, then gives the money to Peping. Then Peping gives the money to Abyong. Abyong is a friend of Peping. Well, Abyong offers Peping to join their boss without really telling them what they are going to do. Then, Peping here is confused about what they are going to do. So he asks Abyong, but he said that it's just an operation. There are 6 here in the van. Peping, Abyong, Boy Chico, Sarge, the unnamed driver, and Cap or Vic, the boss of Peping and Abyong. Just a heads up, okay? So here, I'm not very familiar with where they are going. I guess it's around the city of Pasay. So, anyway, after that, they finally stop at the bar. The dude in front of Abyong, his name is Sarge, right? Later we will know who he is or why his name is Sarge. He goes there to deal with some business. Then, we transition to the bar where some prostitutes are dancing. Then we see a girl asking for an advance for her paycheck. Her name is Madonna, by the way. She gets the paycheck, then gives the money to his auntie because his son's graduation is on Saturday. Her auntie says that she needs to be there. So after that, Sarge here wants to find Madonna for a business matter. He says to Madonna that Cap is there to talk to her. Madonna asks him why he's not with him. Sarge said that he's kinda shy to go inside there. After that, Madonna rides the van. She's blabbering about how she couldn't collect the money that she lent to someone. I guess that money is from their boss. So Sarge here just beat him while Abyong and Peping are there to witness her. Then Peping gives his handkerchief to Sarge so they can tape her mouth. So after that, Peping here is bothered about what they are going to do with her. He doesn't have any clue where they are going. After some time, Cap and Sarge talk to each other about their son having a job and are interrupted by this beggar here. Sarge is annoyed here, so he pisses him off. So after some long ride, they again beat Madonna and loses her consciousness, while Peping and Abyong are looking at her body, of course. Boy Chico here thinks that she is dead, so they proceed to where they need to go. I guess they are now leaving Manila here. Peping is sweating like crazy. Like really sweating. Meanwhile, a police car is right behind them. They think that it is for them, so they try to drive slowly. Everybody is nervous but immediately alleviates the situation when the police car that was following them is for the crime scene ahead of them. Then after that, they need to stop because nature calls them, while Peping here is worried to where are they now. He tries to recognize the place. He doesn't have any clue, so he returned to the van. Ah, yes. They were traveling to Bulacan. Then, they finally arrive at a house owned by Sarge, I guess. Because he's opening the gates for them, they park and Peping and Abyong inspect the house while everybody delivers Madonna to the basement. Then Sarge here throws a bucket of water to wake Madonna and Peping and Abyong are there to witness it. So, Peping and Abyong talk to each other about what Madonna do to them. Abyong says that Madonna has a lot of debt to them, mainly drugs and 100k cash. He says that they warned her many times already. As a punishment, they did this to her. Then they were interrupted again by Cap to buy beers for them. They ride the van, and Abyong is trying to tell Peping that the feeling he feels right now is only temporary and he will get used to it. Then Abyong gave a gift from Cap to Peping and that gift is a gun. After that, they arrive in a store to buy beer and snacks. Then the driver asks Peping to buy balot or fermented eggs near the bus station, just right ahead of them. Then after buying the balot, Peping is trying to escape from them using the money they give to him. So, he goes to the restroom, then immediately rides a bus to escape. But Abyong calls him, so Peping decided to go back to the van. When they return to the house, they arrange what they have bought, and Cap here asks Peping to call Sarge in the basement. Then the next scene is where Sarge is talking to Madonna, and Peping is there to call for him that Cap is looking for him, and Peping is left there to guard Madonna. While observing the room, he saw a picture of her son. He tries to do something to release Madonna here, so after that, we see Cap receives a call from their boss to end Madonna's life. They need to kill her. So they immediately stop drinking and proceeds to the basement. Madonna asks for water and Cap says to her that business is business. After that, Sarge beat her one last time while Peping goes outside to guard the vicinity. And Boy Chico wants to do something to her before killing her. After that, Cap and Peping talks to each other while Boy Chico is raping Madonna. They talk about the gift he gave earlier, about Peping's family, and Cap shares some of his information about his family. It's ironic because the name of his daughter is also Madonna. So, anyway, after that, Cap tells Peping to call for Sarge. When Peping finally goes to Sarge, Sarge orders Peping to find a sack while Abyong and Boy Chico needs to find a sharp knife before telling Sarge that Cap is looking for him. So, after finding the objects, Boy Chico immediately stabs and mutilated her right in front of everybody while Peping watched them anxiously. The sack that Peping finds is not enough, so he tries again to find a sack while Abyong finds a sharper knife. After that, Sarge takes a shower while Peping watches them put the parts of the body of Madonna into the sack. Then, we transition to the scene where Sarge is changing outfits. We see here that Sarge is a policeman after all. That's why he is called Sarge or Sarmiento here. After that, everybody cleaned the mess that they did, and everybody returned to the van bringing along the butchered body of Madonna. While leaving Bulacan, they try to scatter her body to the streets. First, her arms, then her body under the bridge, and the last part is her head. They just dump it into a pile of garbage. After disposing of Madonna's body, they stop to eat their breakfast as nothing happened. While ordering their food, Peping goes to the restroom, feeling nauseous, looking to himself in the mirror, then returned to ask Cap if he can now go, so Cap gave him his share of what he has done and leaves. Then, we transition to this scene where a reporter interviews some witnesses to where the head of Madonna is found. They don't know who throws the head there, so this gives a big question mark to all of them. After that scene, we go back to Peping riding a taxi to go back home. While on his way home, the taxi had a flat tire. Peping leaves the taxi while waiting for another taxi, but the driver immediately replaces his flat tire, so Peping rides again and go back home. The movie ends when Peping rides again to that taxi to travel back home, and bringing all the burden of misery while his family doesn't know what happened yesterday. Hold it right there! There's a reason why this is one of the best films in the Philippines. I'm gonna point some of it. This is just my opinion, okay? First is how they make you feel as a viewer. It all happens when Peping rides that van for the first time. You can feel how he feels because of the outstanding sound effects or soundtrack. I cannot really put it into this video. And the tension building up through the whole movie is great. The level of art and cinematography is outstanding. And how the actors act is outstanding too. Personally, this fits in the category of one of the best movies of all time. So, I guess that's it for the breakdown. See you guys again in the next one. Ingat!